So, hello guys. Just testing out a few things before we get going. The volume seems a bit low, maybe. Let's see what we can do about that. Uh, let's try it like this. This should be better, I think. Something like that. Yeah. Okay. So, welcome guys. This is supposed to be, at least, an in-depth run tutorial of Sly Ninja New Game Plus. Oh god, my cat's here. Just give me 1 second. Okay, yeah, like I was saying, this is supposed to be New Game Plus, all levels, in-depth tutorial, I would say. It's a good way of saying it because I already have a tutorial on most of this category. This is not supposed to replace it, but rather just be complementary to the people that really want to push their times or learn in depth. We will play through every level, start to finish. Whenever I have something to say, I will stop and try to go a bit more in depth about it. Of course, some things are repeated. I'm gonna open my PV video because some things are just easier to point with the mouse. So let's do that right now. Here we go. Okay, so just so we have that with us. Yeah. So a few things to keep in mind. First of all, I heavily recommend using a controller. This is because the setup of some glitches requires you to do things like this, which finding a combination on a keyboard can be very hard because especially the normal power chain button is control. And if you combine that with escape, it usually sends you back to the Windows menu. Another thing to keep in mind is I get this a lot. People ask, how do you get this on PC? Where do I buy it? The reality is this game is out of order. Digitally, there's no way of like legally acquiring it. You can either get a used copy on eBay, whatnot, or you have to, well, resort to shadier methods of obtaining this game. Thirdly, people do ask what's the difference between consoles and whatnot. For this category, the only thing that's a bit worse in consoles is the fact that it'll check for a memory card before saving, in spite of you having autosave off. So that's inconvenient. That's like a second per level. Nothing that should keep you away from getting a good time, but definitely at the top, it's not recommended. And last but not least, what the hell is New Game Plus? Because, well, if you go to the main menu, you may know that there's no New Game Plus option. So this is a New Game Plus file. It's basically a 100% completed file. And what we made, it's sort of an invented category to make like a more condensed version, because any percent you have to replay levels, of course, to get more grades. So with a file that already has every level completed, once you re-enter a level, you don't get on the enemies red coins or time attack. You get the mission in its default way, and as you can see, the guy there that assigns you mini games, you can't actually replay them. So we will just go through every mainline level, excluding the battle arena, because that is like a post-game unlock. And yeah, as long as you go through every level, grab the grade, and beat O-Dor at the end, it's a valid run. But you do have to go through every level. So I guess that's about it when it comes to general information. I would recommend, just as a general rule, always have autosave off for this run. For any and 100, it's not really necessary. And remember that you always have the custom controller configuration, so you can remap the game to your liking however you wish to. And yeah, without further ado, let's just begin with the tutorial with Sly Ninja. Just so you guys know, the timer starts when you press yes here. We do have an auto splitter though. I will leave a link to pretty much every resource necessary in the description after when I submit this to YouTube. So yeah, let's go. I will go. The route is pretty intuitive, so I will just assume that I don't need to explain why we do X level first, X level next. It's just the fastest route as far as maneuvering the overworld goes. Okay, so we basically avoid those guys. Here we just do a very simple double jump. It is something that people maybe tend to struggle with because when you say double jump, you may think that it's instantaneous. Now it's actually better to do it like paused like that. You barely made it up. Then here you can also cut a corner. Here is one of the strats that is worth learning because you can do it in the entire run. Really, it doesn't save too much, but when you go up, you basically do a 360 with your controller and then press A. This saves you of the very annoying animation, like that one. On this particular ramp, you can do this too. Wait, that was wrong. You can do a double jump here, but yeah, go up and do a 360. There's really not much other way that I can do it. If you don't know what a 360 means, just look at what I'm doing with my controller. It's just that. It's really not something too complicated. Yeah, so here just simply walk up. You can use the sword hover to maintain a bit more speed. And of course, this is where the first glitch happens. And it's very fundamental as far as, you know, glitches in the speedrun go, because we're going to do a chain clip, right? And then we're going to do an infinite hover. So let's try to explain a little bit of both. Let's get this out of the way in the lengthy way first. So chain clips occur because the game didn't really take into account what happens on these chains if you do single presses instead of actually doing the hold down to balance yourself like it was intended. So that's the very basis of why you get more height, and never mind, if you do a pause buffer, the height you get is extra. And well, the basic idea is that you basically get yourself between the spot within the wall and the chain, and it just like the chain is so long and you got so much speed and momentum that it just clips you out of bounds. So a very common misconception, and this happens with a lot of chain clips, is that people think they have to like hug the wall to get the chain clip, and that's just a very incorrect method. I would say the best method is just to aim straight to the middle point between both the wall and the chain. Aim straight, not to the right. Do not assume you're gonna be clipped out of bounds. When you get clipped out of bounds, that's when you change the position to do connect it with a sword hover. So yeah, that's it. That's just a very basic idea of like a lot of chain clips. And just to make it perfectly clear, I'm going to go to my PB here. So this is where you should be aiming. And as you can see, I'm aiming straight up. And then I changed it to the right when I realized, okay, I got clipped out of bounds. So yeah, that's the basic concept, as I said to all you. And if you guys want like a concrete setup, it's like you come from here, you go to the upmost point, and then you start aiming towards it. It's very important that you like get towards the upmost point to start doing this. It just makes your life easier, and it makes clip bouts insanely consistent, as you can see. Upmost point, single press, single press. Now, of course, you can connect this with a pause buffer. On this particular chain clip, it's not necessary. So yeah, now we're going to do the infinite hover, which is also very common in the speedrun. So let's just get a thorough explanation out of the way, so I don't have to repeat myself every time we do one of those. Essentially, what the game does is as you're falling into a void, and it's very important that it is a void. That means a place where there is no surface that Ninja can walk on below it, or that has no texture actually, because some aren't walkable, but they still count as like textures. As you're falling into a void and you mash the light attack button, for whatever reason, Ninja just floats. So it looks something like this. Okay, so the the two most important parts are just timing the hover right, because if you take too long, that's what's gonna happen. You're just gonna fall down. And if you do it too early, you will do like a normal light attack on the surface before falling down like this. So that's the very first important part. If I have to recommend something, is that a lot of people, they think it's good to like, give me 1 second. They think it's good to like go to the very edge of the platform and then attempt to hover. To me, it's better to like just take a few steps and react accordingly. It's 2 steps is usually a good idea. But yeah, and the mashing, it has to be rhythmical. You don't have to go like this. You also don't have to go like this. It has to be a beat. What I usually tell people is to put a metronome at 320 BPM online and to go like that. It's something like this. This is like the perfect rhythm, where it's not too fast that you're going to lose it, or not too slow that you leave way too much ground in between them. So yeah, as far as this hover is concerned, wait, this camera is really bad to show this. There we go. You want to aim around this little flamey thing. There's also like more texture here. You shouldn't definitely go more to the left than that, because then the area does a weird loading phase and you will be soft locked. Yeah. Oh, also as a general rule, if you have the camera in bounds and you're out of bounds, you have to aim the opposite way and it always clips out. Well, it usually does anyways. So yeah, we're gonna start the hover. Like I told you, we use the red flame as a reference. Yeah, without going too much more to the left than what I told you here. And you will see that the level loads here. And you want to aim to that rock, the one that I'm looking at right now. And before you get in bounds, you do a single jump to get onto the rail. If you don't get it, it's not the end of the world, but it does save a few seconds. Let's say you fall here into the ground, that is not a huge issue. Just go here and do a well-timed double jump. That was way too slow. One, that was also way too slow. 1, 2, and there you go. You're back into the rail. So yeah, you grab the chain here, you destroy this, and you get onto the wall for eyeballing. And yeah, you get into the minigame. So eyeballing, there's really not a whole lot of depth into it. Like, you can save a few seconds doing it like perfectly, but really it's just about like, if you follow the path where the coins are and where the ranks are lined up, you're usually going to get a good time. The best time you can get is 12 seconds remaining on the clock. And I will guess this is just a bit of memorization, really. It's very consistent. Always doing something like that, like going to the corners, does boost you a bit of speed, but it's really nothing to get yourself crazy about. In this very particular one, it's good to just aim like to the right here, because you get this sort of momentum boost, and yes, you do get slowed down there, but that is faster than just doing it normally. And that's about all I have to say about eyeballing, really. But yeah, like you can see, I'm going to get a 10, maybe a 9 actually? No, a 10, okay. So it's really just a matter of a few seconds more, a few seconds less. And that is the end of my ninja. And wow, we are already like 14 minutes into the stream, but other levels should definitely be a bit faster. Maybe I'm going to do this in 2 parts actually. Yeah, just so you know, after you finish each mission, you just spam A, and then when you get to this screen, you spam B, because obviously you don't have autosave on. So the idea is not to save, and this will become relevant later on. So yeah, after this, we go straight into heart attacks. Just so you guys know, before the camera pans to Ninja, you can already start moving. Just a small detail. Always try to cut as many corners as possible. And here we are.
Stay here and try not to die again.
So, heart attack is not a very difficult level, but it really can be a pain in the ass. So first of all, just as a general rule, you can do this in these walls. Like, you can aim forward. It's a bit faster. It's no big deal. This is where the first skip comes in. You wanna go here, you wanna grab the chain, and at the utmost point, do a sword hover. Now I know this is much more complicated to some people than some others, so we're going to do it a few more times. Because it does save you a good chunk of time, like 10-15 seconds, and it's really not too hard. So I wanna be a bit more thorough about it. So it's always good to be coming at full speed. Here you grab it, and you can see like the utmost point just about where the diagonal roof starts. Okay, you release there, and then you will see that Ninja does like a little backflippy. Okay, this didn't work actually. It usually works when going at full momentum, so it makes sense that it didn't work after a few balancing, a little bit of balancing. So you come at full speed, like I told you, you go to the utmost point, and you will see that Ninja does like a few spins, and after he does that, you immediately do a sword hover. So let's put that on the PB so it makes a bit more sense. Let's see. So no, wait. Oh my god, I put it at 1.4.4p. So let's put this real slowly. So I do the chain, I go to the utmost point, 1, 2, 3 spins. That's something that Ninja does, it's just an animation, and then there you go, you do the sword hover. And it should land you just fine. So back to this. Yeah, just here you do the normal jump. I like to connect this with a sword hover. It's a bit faster. It's not the end of the world if you don't get it. Remember to always try to cut corners the way I'm doing. Here you're going to actually do a skip. First of all, you're going to destroy this to open the gate, and we're going to do a skip in order to not fight these enemies, you know, as the gate is closed there. So for whatever reason, the upmost part of this wall has not been textured. So what we're gonna try to do at least is so you see how after about 3 steps Ninja pulls out his claw. Okay, so if you end that prematurely by aiming towards another side, he does something like this. So we're gonna go to the upmost part here, and we're gonna do 2 steps and use the hover, sorry, and 1, 2, and then you go out. Okay, that didn't work actually. But yeah, the general concept is 1, 2, and before the 3rd step is completed, you go out and you just hover yourself out of this enemy wave. We can get ourselves back in, so we can try to do it again. So 1, 2, but before the 3rd step is even completed, you have to already start doing that. Otherwise, we'll just do the claw animation. That saves you like about 10-15 seconds. Anyways, we continue with the level. As I said, continue to cut corners wherever you see fit and possible. You break this. Here, you can get into the fun in the middle, just about the halfway point here, with a good double jump. And as far as this part is concerned, you know, the intended way is just to go upwards like that. We're just gonna go directly into this middle platform. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna run forward, you know, instead of... we're gonna run in like the opposite direction, forward. And we're gonna use the shadow here as a visual cue to when to jump. And this is not a jump that you have to aim actually, you just hold up. You see the shadow, you jump up while aiming forward, and it just does it. You don't have to aim back or anything like that. Just guide yourself with the shadow. It's very consistent and you get more than enough height. It's not a very precise jump at all. And yeah, it's a very worth it skip. Here we have the first momentum run, because we obviously skipped the one in a ninja. You can keep holding up here, doing some camera work to maintain some momentum. That's about everything I have to say about that section. And now we get the very long bowling sequence, which is kind of tedious. So, oh, just so we can make it clear, with New Game Plus, a lot of cutscenes are skippable. Which is also another reason why we like to run this. That cutscene, for example, is unskippable upon the first playthrough. Not much to add here, more than just hold up. Of course, the laser does give you a slight momentum boost. I'm gonna go through that. Just so you guys know, these places that look so tight, they're actually quite forgiving if you hold on to the ledges that connect a side like this one. This one is more unforgiving. These sides tend to be like more forgiving, so you can just go very recklessly, and it will just like magnetize itself. It's much more easier than it looks. Yeah, so here we hold it straight up. And here we have like a very annoying skip, which is the cycle skip here. Normally you shouldn't be able to avoid waiting for the second platform. Now this is so complicated. Like, there is a setup. I'm gonna try to do my best to explain it, but even like I fail it very frequently. So don't beat yourself up about it if you don't get it. At least not until you're really pushing for a PB. So you wanna get to the very bottom corner here. And once we get close to the platform, we're gonna go straight up, and at a certain point kind of throw ourselves a bit back to kill some momentum, otherwise it will be too fast. Just barely land on the second platform. So let's see. Okay, you see, now that was way too slow actually, like it took way too long to get out of the platform. But yeah, this setup, we had a lot of different types, and I wouldn't say they're like super inconsistent, but they're just very annoying to get because we don't really understand the bowling physics. You see, like, you can get very comfortably there, but then you have to kill some momentum, and it's just very hard to get a hang of it. So if you don't get this one, I would say it's fine to leave it out, like when you're really pushing for a good time, talking about like a 114, 113 and so on. But yeah, so let's just assume you don't do it. Once you get to this platform, be sure to wait here at the very corner. The reason you want to do this is because it already preventively loads the other areas so that you can continue with the level without having to wait for the other cycle, as long as you go fast enough here, which isn't really too hard. Remember to, as you are entering this part, you will have to kill some of your momentum, otherwise you will just fly off. So yeah, just start killing off some of the momentum there, and there you go. And yeah, we just go through here, we do this. You can always use the walls to preserve some momentum like I did there. This part is really comfy in the sense that you have plenty of time to get to this platform, so don't beat yourself too much about it if you don't go super fast. There is a very dumb skip that you can just use this platform to bounce yourself and skip all of this, but it's very complicated. Here I wouldn't say to take it too easy. It's like I told you, it looks harder than it actually is. These platforms are very forgiving. As you're entering this one, I like to use the wall to preserve speed, and there you go. That's heart attack done. Okay, so we're gonna move on to Kyza now. Kyza, it's very mechanic. There's really not too much you have to adapt yourself to or anything like that. You just have to react to the oncoming attacks, which are random actually. And the only thing that can really just lose you some time is if you mess up the power-up attack, because if you're charging the power-up and you get hit, you lose it. So you have to be very careful about that. So first of all, these cutscenes are skippable in New Game Plus. They are unskippable in any percent. I'll just tell you the choreography I do. So the first round, you can hit Kyza freely. So what we're gonna do is 3 combos of 5, and then 1 of B, and then charge. So it looks like this: 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Single hit, and then you charge the attack. Okay, very important. Every time you finish a phase, you have a slowdown animation of where you see like a part of Kyza being torn down. In those cases, you just have to well, to avoid the slowdown, we have a very easy setup. You just pause and unpause, and the slowdown animation resets itself. So you never really see the slowdown. Of course, if you pause too fast, it's not worth it. It has to be sort of rhythmical. Something like that. I like to count to 7 pauses. 8 is also not a bad idea. So yeah, when he shoots the rockets here, you want to actually hit the rockets because they charge up your meter. And yeah, starting from here, you have to react to an attack, dodge and counter with the BXY combo. Once you have the power up filled up, you charge it, but you have to remember that you have to continue dodging, otherwise you're going to lose it. And like I told you, the RNG part is that Kyza can also like relocate himself instead of doing some punches. That does lose some time. It's not the end of the world though. So keep that in mind when you're doing this. Anyways, we hit the rockets again, and yeah, like I told you, this is very mechanic. So there's really not much more to explain. We're once again going to dodge attack, counter, wait for him to attack, counter. We have the power up, load the power up, throw it on him, pause buffer to avoid slowdown. Very repetitive stuff. Of course, if you're familiar with the game, in the final phase you don't have the hint system of where the attack's gonna come. I just have to say, like, you're just gonna have to properly react to it. There's really like not a strat to this because it's also, like I told you, random. It's not like the game has a pre-designed choreography for Kyza, so you just keep doing what you've been doing for the rest of the boss fight and you should be fine. That's it with Kyza, really.
KO. Perfect.
Okay, so we're gonna go to I2I, which actually has a new skip, which is in on my tutorial, so I would say this is very important to see. I2I used to be like a very chill level. Now it's not so much. The skip saves about 20 seconds. Definitely worth it if you're pushing for a top time. So yeah, first of all, we're not going to do a whole lot here. We're just going to get on the elevator. You can do that to preserve a bit of momentum. Always using the sword hover to preserve some momentum. So here, since we have to get to that part, what we just do is throw ourselves here and let ourselves get caught. And yeah, on this momentum run, what you're gonna want to do is when you reach those red arrows, is instead of maintaining the chain, like the press, you just do a single one and you keep aiming forward, and Ninja's just going to go to the very end of this ramp, and as he's exiting, you connect with a single jump and a sword hover, effectively skipping the enemy wave you see there and going through that fan. So this is how it looks. As you can see, it's a very generous time window, so I wouldn't really it's something that I can tell you comfortably that with muscle memory, like a lot of strats in this run, with muscle memory, it's very easy to get since the timing window is very, very generous. So yeah, we let ourselves get caught. You come here, go yourself to the very ledge, bam, you jump, you come here, okay? So here's where the new strat comes in, and this is very, how should I say it, complex, in the sense that, well, first of all, we're going to go here, we're gonna jump so we get caught. Okay, so that's the first part. The second part is we're gonna want to get ourselves into the very ledge of this area without having that spawned. Okay, something like this. And now we're going to try to hover, aiming somewhat to the right, otherwise you get caught by the red ball, going around the area that that you have in front of us, and then turning left. So yeah, that was a bad setup. As you can see, just sent me to do the momentum run. That was a bad setup because I didn't aim enough to the right, apparently. Or do I have to aim forward, actually? This skip is very new. I'm sorry. Well, that's a fail. That's just a fail hover. But yeah, this escape is very, very new. So let's try to get ourselves on with it. It's very precise to get yourself lined up. Never mind to get a hover. Every time you die, by the way, you have to do this where you get caught around here to load the second area. Just so you guys know. Oh god, it's really, really hard. Okay, there you go. I keep on failing the hover. That's because I'm doing it too early. So, yeah, we're just gonna keep doing this. Let's see. Okay, there you go. So you aim to the right to avoid landing in bounds, and the camera should go out with you. Be sure to follow this structure, and you will see like a fan in the distance there. You use that as a reference, and you're going to be just fine. You want to get in within this area, which is like the thing we skip. Usually you have to turn down this wall. We just don't. And bam, that's eye to eye skip. That's a very new one. Yeah, so as far as this area is concerned, it's not worth it to do much more than a single platform run on every time they open and close. If you, well, as far as the platform on the distance is concerned, if you see it reaching the very top like it is right now, that's a bad cycle actually, because you don't have enough time to make it. It's great when you are on the other side and it's about here, but with eye to eye skip, it's almost guaranteed that you're going to get the, I do it with quotes, bad cycle, in the sense that if you get a good cycle with the skip, it will be actually a 40-second time save. But yeah, not everything's possible in life, but this is very straightforward. And with that, we're going to be ending Robot Beach actually, which only took 30 minutes of the tutorial. Well, to be fair, I did have to do a lot of explaining before it, and yeah. So now we're going to sadly go to shoot the ships. Which isn't anybody's favorite level, I will assume. Because this is an in-depth tutorial, I am going to play it entirely, because this is something that I've been discussing with other runners. Most people just take it that, oh, this is the auto-scroller or scroller, you know, I'll just pay through it, no need to learn. And yeah, that's not ideal. So, because you can actually save like a minute with proper strat. Okay, so when it comes to this, you shape things, you go right, left, and then as you're going here, you press A, and you skip also the very annoying animation towards the end. Small tip, saves you like 3 seconds every time you do it. So yeah, as you go to Bombay, we're going to go to shoot the ships, which is up here. This is the only disadvantage about New Game Plus, really, that because it's all levels, that implies actually playing shoot the ships. So, the basic idea of shoot the ships that we're going to have to do is that there are these power-up spawns, and they spawn more often when an enemy is closer to a game over place, which will be when they reach the shore, right? So what we do is damage them to about, as you can see, when the anthem, when the stick there is like that, that means the ship is on the border of destruction. So yeah, we kill about 70% of it, and you can tell you can get a power up when they start shooting at you like that. That means that, yeah, and you get a power shot. But it's really the same when it comes to like the normal part of the wave. The only point about all of this is to have it set up so we can have at least the possibility to get power shots once the big ship, the mini boss ships spawn, which is at the end of every wave you get one. So in the first round, it's usually not too hard to have that set up. You just have to be careful to always keep something on shore, and you will see that the very last ship prior to the mini boss spawn you keep alive, and then one of these will show up. and you kill that one nearly guarantees a power shots. And I think this is the last one, yes. So now we're going to have something here. We get a power shots here, we kill this ship, and yeah, you can kill the mini-boss within 2 seconds. That saves you about 5 seconds per every mini-boss kill. You can always go ahead and try to kill these guys, because they may give you homing missiles, which you use for the final boss in the stage, but it's very erratic. It's very random. You can go an entire level without getting homing missiles. So for the second wave, it's when it starts becoming a bit trickier to do that, because the wave ends in a certain way that you have to just recognize what you're doing in order to get the power shots. But like I said, just as a general rule, keep them at shore to already get some power shots going and whatnot. It's just more convenient. So yeah, I got invulnerability here, which is like useless. Let's see. Anyways, yeah. So now this is about the time we have to start paying attention. When you see this ship like spawning diagonally, we're gonna get 2 of those actually, as you saw there. And we're going to get to the left of us one of those small ships in a bit. Yeah, we're gonna try to get power shots with the little guys, because the big ships at this point don't spawn it. There you go. Okay, we got rapid fire, so at the end of it all, it is also RNG. Maybe we can get it with these guys. Now we got rapid fire. So you see, that's just unfortunate. Not much you can do about it. If you get rapid fire, be sure to aim like at the middle point between the 4 cannons. That's the ship's weak spot. If you run out of rapid fire, here these flying guys guarantee rapid fire when you're facing this guy, just so you know. But normally there you can also get a power shots, and that will be the end of it.
Wave complete.
And yeah, the third wave is the trickiest as far as power shots go with the mini-boss, because you don't actually get the small ranks near the end of the wave, and you actually have to rely on the flying guys, which will spawn in a bit, to give you power shots as a ship of this kind is within your shore.
Power shots. Power shots.
Also, I know this is tedious, but a good shoot the ships compared to just playing it normally is about 90 seconds time save, which is pretty crazy if you think about it.
Power shots.
So I wouldn't take this for granted, actually.
Power shots.
There's also like another strat which I heavily dislike, that consists of how do I explain this? Okay, now we have to aim for a power shot. Yeah, so we got it, and now we're going to get this big ship. Or wait, maybe a new I think 2 more ships come. Yeah. Okay, so with these 2 ships, you have to try to get a power shot with the guys flying above you. So yeah. These are the 2 ships prior to the mini-boss, so you have to... Oh! Yeah, that's not good. I accidentally destroyed that one. Okay, now we try for a power shot with no luck. Okay, there you go, we got it. So, you can only get them with the flying guys here, for whatever reason, and yeah, we just do the insta-kill. But yeah, like I was saying, doing this strat, instead of just playing normally, actually saves you a good 90 seconds. So it is worth learning. Anyways, as you can see, we got no homing missiles. This is our last chance. Now we just got armor. There's also like another strat where you can take a lot of damage and be on the verge of death. And here with where the mini-boss spawns, you have a chance of getting power shots, but you also have a huge chance of just getting a bunch of armor. So it's really not something I like. So about this mini-boss, you first want to start shooting it like this. Always aim to this bottom part because it's a weak spot. And now it will start spawning the flying guys. So you want to shoot them for power-ups. And a rapid fire is basically guaranteed as long as the ship is going like this. When it starts turning around, I would say get a second one and then just commit to shooting the ship. Maybe a third one. If it's about here, 90 degrees, power-ups are still pretty easy to get, like rapid fire. But then once it stops turning around, it power-ups rates become just increasingly rare, especially once you deplete half of its health bar. Always be sure to hit the bottom part here. If any flying ranks come to get you, you can absolutely kill them and maybe try for a rapid fire like there. But as you can see, the power-up rate just becomes far lower once the ship has low health bar, and it's not worth stopping the damage to the ship in order to risk a power-up. You see there, I got nothing too. But yeah, we're almost done with the level. Yeah, let's shoot the ships. Okay, so that was the Dolls level. I wouldn't say it was that bad. So just a second, please. Okay. Sorry about that. Anyways, now we have Gradient in a Cage, which is a historically annoying level because we have one strat that saves you 20 seconds, give or take. But the problem is that if you fail it, the barrel gets destroyed and you get teleported to the beginning of the level. So it's very high risk. But you also have to kind of do it.
Too easy.
So first of all, you skip the cutscene, gets you into the barrel. This is like a choreography that you learn the more you play this level. You can come here, you can come through this corner. As this, you can go through two here, you wait for this one. There's not much more, there's not much I can go like in huge depth about, other than just, you know, it's good to treat this like an FPS, you know, just aim upwards and let the camera do the directions. At least that's the way I handle it. It also like preserves speed a little bit better that way. But yeah, here's where the annoying part is going to start. Where, well, first of all, we get here, right? And once we get here, well, let me try to get, okay, there you go. So you want to go through these three as soon as the cycle ends, and then you're going to turn left, then go immediately to the right, and you're going to throw yourself off a ledge with the barrel in it, trying to get enough speed so that it lands on a radius where you destroy the cage and get the grade. The problem is that if you fail that, of course, you get thrown back into the beginning of the level. So let's see how we do it. Oh my god, that's embarrassing. Okay, just as a general rule, when you fail, you always restart the mission instead of waiting for the respawn. It's faster, and you have the cycles that you know. That was very embarrassing. So yeah, let's do that again. Okay, so like I told you there, you can also do the same with the skip. It's also a very good idea to just aim forward and let the camera do the work. Otherwise, you're gonna be losing speed. And yeah, that's not ideal. So here you can also do this. Skip one and then do this. So yeah, you aim straight forward. That was way too much to the right, and as you can see, I failed it. It's good that I get some examples of when it goes wrong. I haven't done skip in a while, so oh, I am just really embarrassing myself here. But yeah, it's a very annoying skip. It's also like you just went through an 8-minute auto scroller and you can just throw the entire run away here because it loses a minute if you fail it. Definitely not a fun skip at all. So here we are again, and yeah, let's try to do this. 1, 2, 3, and straight up. There you go. That's a very good setup. Normally, if possible, you're going to land like within the area, but it's also possible that the explosion just sends you down here. Don't worry, there's a backup for that. So we get on this elevator, we aim diagonally, at the topmost point, and we just do a precise double jump, and you're back here. And that's the end of creating a cage. Really, if you have GameCube emulator, I would recommend practicing there with save states, just so you don't have to do the entire level again. It's not a terrible skip, but damn is it annoying. But yeah, now we're going to go to Rocket Factory, which is one of those like big-ish levels when as far as strats come. You can do a double jump here, by the way, just to save some seconds. So
Yeah, whatever.
the clip, first and foremost, is not hard. I would say it's one of the easiest ones, actually. You want to go here to these boxes. So you know how I told you in Heart Attack that Ninja has an animation about 3 steps into his way, and you can just kind of cancel it moving the other way, so something like this. Well, you're gonna do that at the utmost point of this box, but to the other side. And once you clip out, you have to do a sword hover back into the boxes, so you're out of bounds. So this is what it looks like. And yes, as I always say, you can use the camera to get back the camera out of bounds too. So yeah, few steps, go inwards, go back. There you go. And yeah, you're gonna start a very complicated sword hover here. So let's just get a hover going, and I'm going to try to explain it. First of all, you want to go through this, like if you're going normally, that's going to spawn the very next area of the level, as you can see there. And here, you have to use the mini boss's feet as a reference. So once you don't see any of that area anymore, you turn left. You maintain it for about 2-3 seconds. And then you stop moving but keep the hover because the area is loading. And there you go, you just skip like a good minute. And you land here where a wave of enemies come. So this is the very first wave of enemies you're going to face, and it's like 30 minutes into a run. As a black belt, you kill every normal ranks in 2 hits, so just do that. I like to use a jump to reset my movement and don't have to sit through the entire animation. Very straightforward battle, and be sure that to immediately aim back, as you're going to have to destroy this red ball to clear out the area. As you destroy this, you do a double jump to get here, and as you see the cutscene, Ninja is still moving. It's always a good idea, just to save a few seconds here. And yeah, here you can do a double jump, you do the 360 here, and yeah, as far as this part comes, it's just following the cycles. As always, cut corners, do the sword hover when you can. When you get to this part, of course, the idea is to destroy one of these red cylinders. You can always try to go to the furthest one. Sometimes you'll make it, sometimes you won't. That barely didn't make it, actually, which is a shame. So yeah, just get your feet here, and this is a good place to like stretch your legs or check your phone, because you have like 10 seconds of this. So I'm just gonna do that myself. Anyways. So, keeping... After that, you double jump here, double jump here, double jump here, and you just make it through this layout of the level. So just so we are clear, jumping and doing a sword hover, it's not really being tested as the fastest method. It's just what I like to do, because it keeps my fingers warm as I'm getting through just some areas of dead time. It's very important for you to cut corners, of course. The more you do that, it's just a matter of basic geometry. You're always saving time. Okay, so here you have the chain. You just do it normally. You can use the sword hover here too. And here's where a skip comes into play. That's really had me stuck for a while, but the more I experimented with it, the more I understood it. So you're gonna have to want to come to about the middle part of this ledge. Be sure to not get hit by this guy. And when you come back, you do not want to hit, and I'm going to use my PV video here to be able to use my mouse. So you do not want to hit any surface that is within here, within like the start of this ramp, you know, like, but when the surface changes, and the very end of the first flamethrower. Otherwise, the area that you just loaded by going to the middle part will unload and the skip will not work. Okay, so keeping that in mind, you have to do a kind of precise double jump, and here you're gonna do a chain clip. And like I already said it, the best idea is to always get to the utmost point and aim to the spot between the wall and the chain, not aiming straight to the wall. And after you do that, you sword hover for one-ish seconds, like not much more. The one main issue with this skip is that people overdo the sword hover and they end up going far away from the area and they just land on a void. So let's try to do that. Oh wait, also this skip is good to do with the pause buffer. So just as a general idea, when you do a pause buffer, the first pause is when you do the single press, and then you just mash 3 more times, which is like pause back, and that's how you get the extra height. That's how I do it. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's just like let's just do it here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Something like that. So there you go. You sword forward for 1 second, and there you go. You're here. Always don't overdo it with sword hover. That's the main mistake here. And the rest of the level is played normally. Okay, and now we're going to head to an RNG fest known as Ventis, which isn't fun at all. Oh, also as a rule here, well, that's not ideal. You can always use those little boxes to get rid of extra momentum. Be sure to kill that guy, otherwise he can take you out of this rocket, which is the one you use to finish the mission. So that was it as far as the rocket factories goes, and now we're going to go to Ventis. Now I'm gonna do this with controller, but just so you know, I tend to do this boss with keyboard just because I find it a bit easier to mash. The problem we have with this ship is that it has a very slow fire rate, but it can be faster if you mash really hard. And if you get rapid fire, the limit at which you can fire is actually pretty high. So this boss is basically RNG in the sense that you can save or lose 40 seconds to a minute depending on what power-ups you get. But I will try to give you a choreography in order to get the most amount of power-ups to at least give you a better chance of getting lucky. So the power-ups spawn normally when you get a multiplier. Multipliers are achieved by dodging attacks. So that's the very important part. So when Ventis launches me his first attack, first of all, I'm just gonna dodge it, and then I'm gonna go to the very corner as his attack is about to end, and I'm gonna maintain myself there so I can get the power-up spawns right above me, because they spawn above where you got the multiplier. Okay, so we just skipped the tutorial. We can start doing damage immediately to Ventis, but I like to start somewhere here on the right as his attack's about to come in. You do that, and then you just go to the very corner, so you make sure you get the multiplier on the very corner, and you're just gonna hug the corner for the rest of the level. Yeah, just be sure to be attentive of the attacks. Like I said, you don't get multipliers if you don't, and of course that's something we don't want. Like I said, I do like to spam with keyboard, so my shot rate on controller is going to be a bit shocking. As far as this attack goes, you just have to move a bit low. You just have to move for your initial position. So for now, we're just getting rapid fire. The ideal combo is rapid fire and power shots, both together. But power shots and homing missiles is also pretty good because you can just move normally and aim at his weak spot, which is there you go. So when he opens his mouth, that's the cue to like just really get your shots in, because he's very weakened when his mouth is open. That attack is probably the least convenient one. When he does that, you have to dodge him, otherwise you will have to sit through an animation. We're getting a lot of power shots, which is really weird, but as you can see, they're kind of useless on their own. Okay, now that we got rapid fire, yeah, He should be dead. There you go. Okay, that was a really good Ventis RNG actually, because we got a load of power shots, and yeah, the general idea is to really mash that when he has his mouth open, since that will do a whole bunch of damage. But that can go way worse. But as long as you're dodging attacks, you're at least guaranteeing some power-ups to you. Be sure to always like be very perfect about that. So chase the fuse. I would say it's the let me think. Yeah, I would say this is the only level in the entire run by now, which isn't like frustrating, slightly annoying, or a bit nerve-wracking. This is just a very chill level, which is funny because it's the only one that really gives you a sense of urgency upon casual playthrough. So the idea is that you have to get to the grade before the fuse gets to it and destroys it. But something that you should know by now is that it's heavily rubber banded, so you're never going to lose to it unless you do something very stupid. But really, like, this level, we have no major skips, we have no major glitches. We just we just play through it normally. I'm going to do it just because this is the tutorial. Let me see if there's something I can think of. Like, for example, here I jump to maintain some momentum. When it comes here, I like to do it like this. Some people just like to jump constantly. I like to go through the middle here because it just seems a bit faster. Doing it like this. I like to use this barrel to get a bit of extra height since we got a falling area here. In this place, instead of going through the chain, you just do a double jump. Not much more to add there. Yep, and of course in this part you do what I said on the first U-turn like momentum run. You go to the place you want to reach eventually, you go to the other side, and as you're doing the third run you do the double jump. Yeah, so here you can normally skip this, but because I got the weird animation, I have to wait for it. But as you can see, we're almost done with the level, and it's really just nothing has happened. Here, instead of using the chain, I like to jump and sword hover just a bit faster, and that's it. Very quick level. And yeah, now we're going to move to Jungle Falls, which is a very interesting overworld. It's definitely the hardest one, I would say. And I'm probably going to do up until Jungle Falls, because we do have a lot to explain, and that's about the halfway point of the run. A bit longer than the halfway point, I would say, but yeah. So first of all, you can actually do an infinite hover here, and we do it actually. You want to get to this very corner here, and you can do it because this water doesn't count as a texture Ninja can walk on. We just do this to get to the boss of entrance quickly. Otherwise, you have to go to the very corner there and come back, whatever. So yeah, saves like within the route like 10 seconds. So boss off. Now this level, it's the very first iteration of enemy clips that we have to do. So first of all, this is going to spawn two enemies, and we're going to take this one to the wall, and we're going to try to put it in a place where there's enough room within the wall and the ranks so that we can get in, but the game gets confused and it clips us out of bounds. So manipulating enemy positioning is about the hardest thing in this run. You have to just be very reactive to what they're doing. Like I told you, we want them to be spot room within the wall, so this is a very bad one. But yeah, we're just going to try to get him a bit further back, and then we're going to try to aim him forward. This is not too bad, he just has to move a bit more forward, and there you go, we're out of bounds. But it's easier said than done, to be sure, because at times they will just feel like they're stuck with their animations no matter what you do. At times they will just do something that's not useful to you. At times they will be stuck in something like this where you just don't know how to redirect them. Here you have to go back again. Sometimes they just stand there looking at you, and even if you are aiming the other way, they will try to attack you as if nothing changed. Yeah, they're just very annoying. So just as a general rule, I'm trying to get him to do a very particular attack, which is like a very definitive proof that you have to do something about it. Yeah, that attack, the one that he did just now, where he just uses his sword vertically, that's usually a very bad sign, in the sense that you have to change immediately what you're doing. It's very easy to get them caught in doing that. So if there's anything I can suggest here, is to always keep in mind that there needs to be room within the ranks and you. So within the ranks and the wall, sorry. So always try to make a bit of space and try to get to this corner. This is always like the best setup, and you should be able to get clear outs going. But yeah, I would love to be more thorough about this, but it's really, you see, like there he got stuck, and you just have to accept that, yeah, well, maybe he's in a good position, but there's no way he's gonna move. There you go, we got him back out of bounds. So here you're gonna do hover, of course. Be sure to avoid the water, because it's you can actually go within it, and be sure to not go too much to the right, otherwise you will go to the other side of the level. Yeah, you have to take this like hole, I want to say, to load the second part of the level, which is the ending. Actually, what we just did is save about 5 minutes, believe it or not. You can just keep hovering, and when you get the normal attack, that means you're in a walkable surface. So yeah, something you can do here, save some time, is instead of doing like the normal this and this, you go here, you jump, and it does it like as if you're doing a wall run, you know, and you jump to the other side, use your hover, and you land on the rail. Very small time save, but I think it's worth talking about. So here's the rocket section. You have to use this to kill the bee. You can actually go through this guy. You can use pause buffers, but I don't usually find it too necessary. Like, that should do it. But yes, doing it with pause buffers is just very hard to redirect it afterwards. You have to go through this very, very small corner and then immediately turn right. Otherwise, you're going to, like, if you don't turn immediately to the right. Well, there, I killed the guy, actually. If you kill the guy, it's not the worst part. But if you get the skip and then you don't turn right, you're just gonna hit this. So be sure you do that. But yeah, just very straightforward part here to just kill the bee. This cutscene is unskippable, unfortunately. So on this part, instead of taking the rail like this, as soon as you get into it, you connect a double jump and you can get upwards here. Just saves a few seconds. And here we're going to do a jump. So normally you have to kill these two wasps, which spawn like big blocks that you can walk there. But you can actually do a pretty precise jump here, which looks something like this, and it'll get you to your destination. So I know a lot of people have issues with this jump. So let's see if I can show very slowly on my PB the way my brain thinks it through. So, first of all, I use this log as a reference. You can tell that it's a bit brighter than the ones between them. And you will see that Ninja can barely, like, he barely is touching the ground upon the jump. Like, he's almost, like, outside of this. That's because the textures of this log are, like, all wrong, right? And you have to do a single jump. And at the utmost point, a sword hover. Double jump kills all of your height. This is a very important rule. It applies to all of iNinja. If you do this, that's great. If you do this, you can see how it kind of just falls down. It's just not convenient. So wait, we're gonna actually do the skip. So we're gonna do that. So. And we do it like turning around like this because I just find the setup a bit easier that way. But yeah, as you can see, it's like he's barely touching the ground, and then you just skipped a few cutscenes, like about 15 seconds worth of time loss if you don't do it. Yeah, that's the end of boss off. And now we're going to go to Sly Ninja, which used to be a very annoying level, and now it just became so much easier with the Infinite Hover. So probably people are happy about that. We're going to take the water here. You're going to go straight up. And you're going to enter the level. So this is very straightforward. You just enter the level and go to the end, basically, because the end is right in front of you. But of course the game expects you to go around it, but we have the infinite hover, so it's really not too hard. So first of all, we start the hover here. I did it too early there. I did it too early again. Let's go again. So we do the hover and we want to go around this rock. Then you want to go like to where the rocks were there, like they unloaded. So now you're going to be, the camera is going to be inbounds. You can see that if you go through here, you can't actually move forward. That's where the camera is stuck. So you want to go around this floor there. Just aim to where the barrels are, and you will hit a cutscene trigger that spawns you at the very end. That's really about it. It's a very simple skip, thankfully. And now we have this aberration. So I'm gonna take out the tutorial. I'm gonna take out my PB to try and show you a bit easier what I'm talking about, because yeah, this part just stinks. This is also very RNG oriented, so don't be too mean to yourself if you don't happen to get a good time here. Even in my PB I lost a lot of time. So for a reference, this is stove 1, stove 2, stove 3, and on the other side we also have them like from beginning to third, stove 1, stove 2, stove 3. So when you get there's something on the second stove here, that means you have something on the third and the first of the other side, and the same vice versa. That is 100% consistent. What's not 100% consistent is when that happens. If all of the claws have a ball to put into the stove, and of course, like you saw there, if the stoves close and you just aim at nothing. So that's a lot of variables to take into account. You have to be nice to yourself, because it is just very much RNG. And in worse news, you can get a bad lineup. Let's see if we get one here. Like, you can get a lineup that is not correctly in place with the stove, and it'll just fall and it'll not be your fault. I like to think this was a mistake in development, because if it was on purpose, that is just like incredibly mean. So yeah, you want to get 1, 2, 3. As you can see, I got a whopping none of them there. Now I got it again. Like I said, if it's 3 on one side, it's 2 on the other. We got both of them there. That's pretty good. Now it's probably gonna get on the middle. No, it's gonna get, okay, it's going to just keep moving. So now we got 2, 3, and 1. But you can see, like, you're just at the mercy of when the stoves close and open, and sometimes it'll just not have an item to dispose of. Sometimes it will just keep moving and fuck you royally. There's so much to take care of, and there, for example, like we barely missed that, and that was so shitty. So yeah, we got it here, and again the thing closed on us. That was a bad lineup. This place is just a disaster overall. That's badly lined up. That's not going to land. Yeah, it's speedrunning. It's speedrunning hell essentially, which is pretty terrible considering we're speedrunning. Here you can always try to get like a moving shot. It's very hard to get it though. And now we have the nightmare that is that we have to wait until we get one here. Yay! And we got a bad lineup, so we just have to keep waiting. And now it's gonna stop here, and you have to wait until it gets here, and you have to hope that this is not going to close on you. And yeah, this part is just the worst, so don't beat yourself too much about it. If you don't get a good time here, you really just are at the mercy of whatever the hell the game feels like doing. But yeah, that was Sly Ninja. Very, very annoying RNG. I think you just get better the more you practice it, but still you can get terrible, terrible, terrible lineups. So now we're going to move on to Psyamon, and I'm going to have to explain something. I'm gonna do it before we get to the level. There's a thing called this. This is the this is called the triple uppercut slash. So we have the uppercut. We have the which is A plus B, and we have the slash, which is A plus X. So something that some of our mates realize is that if you do all three inputs, if you press and release all three inputs within like a few frames, you get like a very weird combo, which just does both attacks simultaneously. And what that does is it does insane damage as it multiplies itself, because the game has a mechanic that if you do a hit and then the same hit does another one, the damage multiplies itself and it takes it all as one hit, even though it is two technically. So that we're gonna use it on the enemy wave of Psyamon, because all of them are black belts. I would suggest to always try to group them up, because it also guarantees more collateral damage. I like to do it with keyboard. This is my keybinds. I have a wait, what? No, okay, yeah. I have jump with L, then I have spin attack with K and fast attack with J, and that's the order you should do it. But if you press the three at the same time, it works.
Not hearing you. Can't hear.
So you're going to see that my control display is not going to be doing it. I'm just going to be mashing those three buttons, and you will see what I'm talking about. So first of all, I want to get them lined up. Yeah, that's a good lineup. And yeah, as you can see, that's basically instantly killing them, which is like black ranks take so much damage. We can do it one more time just in case. They usually like, just so you know the difference, this is usually how much it takes to kill like some black ranks. Like it takes ages. So if you do it like that, it does save you like time. It's better if you get them lined up, like I told you, like it's double collateral damage, so it's always worth it. But yeah. And now we're going to get to Psyamon, another boss which some runners may just think like, oh, I just play through it. But there's actually like good strategy within it. I would say like a good Psyamon is about 30 seconds faster, which is definitely worth trying. So the idea of Psyamon, of course, is we're going to be loading the bar next to us to get the missiles that can actually do damage to him. And what the game, I don't know if it doesn't take into account or it's just intended, but whatever. As the missiles are charging up and you still have enemies on screen, you can start filling up for the next attack. And that's the way we're going to be doing to just basically skip a few cycles of this fight. I think one or two at most, but still worth it anyways. So yeah, first of all, you want to get every single one of them. I don't recommend spamming the shots because like they can really last for an entire round like that without having to reload. Of course, when he throws fire or electricity, you just have to destroy that attack. And now you will see what I'm talking about. When I do this, I kill a few enemies here and there, and now I have some extra damage, and I already start the phase with 3 bars loaded up. And it's gonna allow me to, in the next wave, it's going to allow me to start filling up the bar again, and so on and so on. And the place where you're gonna need it the most is for the final wave, because the amount of enemies you get is very limited to get a charge up. Also, the way the ranks move... Oh! You have to be very careful to not get lost within all of that.
Reloading.
And not shoot the missiles at Psyamon. That's something that happens pretty often. But yeah, like I was saying, the most important part is to have 3 bars, I think it is, before the final cycle. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait a whole lot longer. But yeah, the concept is still the same. Of course, you have to get used to the inverted controls, which I'm sure it's not going to be fun. But what can I say? I played this since I was like a 4, so it's like second nature to me. If you played games in the 2000s, it shouldn't be too much of a hassle, I would say. But who am I to say? Okay, so we got 2 there, but as you can see, this wave is actually continuous, so it's about the same.
Reloading. Loading. Reloading.
Oh, that's a very bad distribution. We're gonna get hit. Okay, that's very inconvenient, but I think that should be enough to get the good cycle. So he's just going to show us his mouth a few times, and now he should spawn 2 enemies. 2 of them the red ranks. Yeah, that's it. So you just kill all of them, and that's enough to finish the boss fight. That's a good Psyamon. On a bad Psyamon, you wouldn't have enough juice for the final wave, and it would just lead you to wait a second time of him just throwing out miscellaneous stuff. And yeah, that's Psyamon. Now we're going to go to write the logs. Probably the last level I'll do before we end the stream, because this is about halfway through the run. A bit more actually than halfway, but yeah. If not, this stream is gonna go on for way too long. Write the logs. It has enemy clip, and it has the longest hover in the game, lasting just over a minute of straight hovering. However, it is so worth it that you will have to learn it, I would say. So we're gonna use that enemy to clip us. This is about the position where you want to take him. As you can see, it's not like you're straight into the wall. You just want to get him to the very position. This is one of the hardest enemies to manipulate its positioning, I would say. Like I told you, when he does that attack, you're kind of royally fucked. You just need to get him to move to this very particular position, and as he's moving, you have to move there yourself. Otherwise, he's just not going to pay attention to you. So yeah, now we got ourselves here, and you have to hope he relocates, and there you go. You can do a clip out. Of course, the clip out can happen with you jumping, or he can just do it himself. Let me see if I can show you how that goes. But as you can see, he gets stuck. Oh yeah, that's also very fun. Sometimes the black ranks likes to come in and have some fun, and sometimes you accidentally kill both ranks and you have to reset the mission. Be careful with that, of course. But going back to it, this is a rank that is ridiculously hard to just get him to obey you. I like to just go to the spawn tree, then just go to the very right here. Then he will be in that position, and now he's like about the position that I'm telling you he should be. And you have to properly time your moves there so he goes upwards. That's good. And now, okay, that was unfortunate actually. He's now going to be stuck there. Yeah, at times you have to just recognize he's just going to be stuck in a position like there. He's also royally stuck. Very difficult enemy clip. Do spend some time with it before trying it out at the run. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so yeah, you can just when you can see it's shaky, it's usually good for you to clip out. And now you're going to start the hover. The good thing about this hover is that if you fail it, you land in water, so you can just go to the very end of the water while mashing attack, and you get a second chance at it. So this is a very long hover. you see those little fireballs we have here there? That's the rest of the level. That's something you don't want to do, but you want to aim to some very, very tiny fireballs you see at the very, very end there. Maybe you can't see them on stream. If you are on in-game, it's a bit easier, but I'm afraid you're going to have to maintain this hover for a whole minute. So be sure to have practiced a lot of hover because before you get here. That's all I can say really. But yeah, you just aim to the second to the left fireball here, while consistently hovering. But yeah, keep up the 320 BPM. Okay, you're gonna be here. This area is really dangerous because most of it is not loaded. It's just that the ending was loaded with an initial cutscene, but the initial cutscene didn't intend for you to be here. So it's very precarious. So what you're gonna want to do is go here behind this rock to this surface. Okay? And be very careful because if you lose this, you fall to your death. You do a double jump to get on the ledge that finishes the mission. And I mean it when I say be careful, because if you fall, this part is not textured. You just fall to your death. And that's right, Deluxe. And I think we're gonna leave it here. Just because it's going to get very tedious otherwise. If I continue going, we still have about 9 missions to go. So 9 missions? Yeah, 9 missions, and some of them have like the most complicated levels out there, but it usually is also the point where I see that most people just stop learning thoroughly and start to half-ass it because it's like, okay, I know the strats of the beginning, that's enough. So I do want to do that sooner than later, but yeah, I am going to take a little bit of time before I do the next one. And I think I'm just going to upload them together to YouTube just to make it a bit more convenient with timestamps and just call it a day. So yeah, thank you to the people who have been watching, and let's just wait until I have enough time so I can sit down for another hour and talk about Ninja. Hey, maybe I'll do it today, maybe not, who knows. But yeah, I'll see you guys for part 2. Alright, so we are back with the tutorial. So first of all, let's just go to where we left it off. So we have a consistent route. So last time we left it off at Raidelox, arguably one of the toughest levels, and it's not going to get too much easier. So yeah, we were here when we left it off. So after this, you just take a jump and a hover to go to the next overworld, and here we do some routing shenanigans that may be hard to understand. So the basic idea is that we have autosave off, so we can come to this save point in the overworld and save. And after we are done with sneak and destroy, instead of coming back and doing this very long path, we just quit the game and reload the save here, because since this is a file that has everything completed, there is nothing that you really earn by recompleting sneak and destroy. So that's why we save here. If you want to do really fast, you just hold left and mash A. So like, that's it. So yeah, this is the road to sneak and destroy. Not much I can add about this. Just do it like this. Always remember that when you're using the power chain, um, use it while being on the ground. It's a bit faster. Don't jump. It's completely unnecessary. And there is a small skip you can do here if you want to go for it and feel really confident about how you do chain clipping. You can do a chain clip here. Just go here. You do the method that I told you. Go to the utmost point, then do pause buffering. Try to land in the middle. Do a small sword hover. Well, I failed that. You do a small sword hover forward, and that should work. But yeah, I think it's an unnecessary risk. It saves like 5 seconds max. So yeah, you see that your criteria. We're going to try it one more time though. So yeah, let's see. There you go. So you just enter the level from here instead of doing this long walk. It saves like 4 seconds. I usually don't go for it unless I'm on a very tight pace. So Sneak and Destroy, annoying level for sure, but one that you can really just dominate because it is very consistent strat-wise. So we're gonna start the level with a chain clip, an enemy clip. So you see this kind of hole that the ninja can walk on. We're basically gonna put a ranks behind us and force the game to clip us out. Out of all of the enemy clips, I would say this is the simplest one. It's very easy to get the ranks here, as you can see. He just needs to be aiming forward to this little rock point. What you shouldn't confuse yourself is that is that sometimes he can aim way too much to the left, like he's doing right now. But yeah, he tends to also relocate his aim towards you, so he's not really stuck aiming at, you know, nowhere like that. Now we just got him lined up and it's just a matter of clipping out. Yeah, black belt ranks really good for clipping out. They tend to be more aggressive and smarter than your average ranks, so they're very useful for clip outs like this, and as you can see, it is very consistent. So yeah, you're gonna do some out of bounds maneuvering here. Just be sure to not clip back in bounds. This is usually fine. Here you just want to do a single jump and hover, and you will land on the next part of the level. So I'm gonna pause here because wait, I'm gonna go a bit more forward so you can see where I'm at. Okay, so on this part you just do this exact same route always, and if you do it immediately after landing the skip, the cycle will be consistent, so you don't have to worry about it, about the sentinels. Essentially just be sure to grab a few darts. You have some here. Some people like to grab these. I like to grab the ones here, so we just go here to the very corner. We do here, we do a quick attack, jump to cancel it, and we grab a single dart. You can grab 2 for safety, but really 1 is all that is necessary. So on this part we are going to essentially go through the corner so we can grab the chain to our right, and then we're gonna hit the switch on the door, and we are going to jump around the pit to avoid this red sentinel from catching us. So we're just gonna, I'm gonna pause it. You can skip this cutscene. You have to skip it immediately in New Game Plus, otherwise you will have to think of another strat. But yeah, you essentially jump into the void and back in bounds. Be very careful with the sentinel, because if he detects you while you are in the pit, you're immobilized and you just fall to your death, and yeah, that would be fatal to say the least. So yeah, just jump out and back in like that, a good double jump, and that should be good to clear it up. So yeah, after this part it's really mostly cozy. The good thing about this mission, like I said, it's very consistent, so you don't really have to worry. Just, well, as I say that, I get caught, obviously. Okay, that usually doesn't happen. I just rushed it a bit too much. You just have to wait until the ranks is looking the other way, or just go a bit more to the right and you should be good to go. Like, yeah, just wait and then you just take it straight through the path here. destroy this and immediately skip the cutscene. Now you'll have an enemy wave. You may want to hurry here. Using the triple uppercut may not be a bad idea, since you got a black ranks here, and destroy here and start aiming directly to the sentinel, because we're going to distract him with darts. Otherwise we're not going to be able to make it through. Like that, and just come here to the right and you will get a hold of the rocket launcher. Remember that you have to destroy 2 structures before getting out. One is this, the wall, I'd say, and the second one is just the crystal hoarding the grave. Of course, because it is New Game Plus, you can skip this cutscene. After that, just come here, aim directly here, and jump with a hover, and you will never be caught by that sentinel. And that's about it for Sneak and Destroy. Like I said, it's just a choreography. It's a very, very consistent level. The clip out is very consistent, and the positioning of the sentinels is 100% not RNG. So, not a terrible level. Just the jumps in the middle part can be a bit scary and potentially run ending. So as we said, we're going to quit the game here and reload our save, because you skip all of the walk back to clouding around. So yeah, we're now just going to go to clouding around, which is also a level that's not too bad. It can just be a bit annoying. There are faster methods than the ones we usually do in a run, but they're far from worth it. It requires a very complicated 2 enemy setup, wall clip, and then just landing on a tiny area, and that's all of that is just like for what, 4 seconds if you do it optimally. I wouldn't recommend it. By the way, this chain is absolutely broken. It is very funny. Like you just get Ninja walking like very weird positions like that. Yeah, pretty funny stuff. Yeah, clouding around. So first of all, immediately skip the cutscene, otherwise the placement of the platforms is going to be a bit weird here. So you want to start doing a hover here to the left, and as you are doing the hover, you want to push yourself to that pillar you see on the left. That doesn't count as a texture, it's just a reference to avoid a platform that is moving. As should you land above the platform, the hover is cancelled, of course, so be sure to not do that. And most of this ground has a lot of textures, so it can also potentially end your hover. So yeah, just do it like that and get this door. Like I said, immediately skipping the cutscene is important, and you just do another hover here. This one is just very consistent, just be sure you get it, and that's it. And believe it or not, that saves about a minute from the intended route. Yeah, this is just a bit of platforming here. You can wait a little bit. And here, I actually recommend people to farm a bit of hits, like let themselves get hit a bit, because we are trying to get some power up for the mini boss, which we will explain how that's very useful to us. So yeah, be sure you end that way with the Ninja Berserker power up ready to go. And yeah, here we just do the intended route. Not much more to say here. You can skip this cutscene because it's New Game Plus, so be sure to do that. Grab here. Here you can farm some more hits if you don't have Ninja Berserker lined up. As you can see, I do, so that's no problem. From here, the cutscenes are unskippable, so don't worry about that. And here is where we're going to use the Berserker. So this is actually the one of the only mini bosses we end up facing in the entire run, if not the only one actually. So as well, you may know this or not, but if you attack the guy normally without dodging, he, like as you can see, he will block your attack. So what we're going to do is upon spawning, we wait for him to charge up an attack, and as he's charging up, we get the Ninja Berserker. Then we dodge his attack. Okay, we didn't dodge it there, but yeah, we can get him out of a block, and now we just attack him in increments of 5 attacks and a pause. Attack, pause. 5 attacks, pause. Attack. Well, now I'm out of power up because I failed to dodge his attack, But that's the idea and concept. Wait, I'm gonna actually do this again just in case, because I felt like it wasn't clear enough. So let's finish this boss and then I'm gonna throw myself. So let's show that again. This is obviously more important in runs like any percent on 100, where you face a lot more mini bosses than here. Here you just face one of them. I think it's just one of them. I'm trying to make memory, because you do skip the ones in Outpost Alpha, the one in Outpost Beta you skip as well. Okay, you have one more in Outpost Beta actually. That's the only two. Okay, so you come in and you will, like I said, you will wait until he buffers up an attack, and once you recognize that, you activate Ninja Berserker. There you go. And then you wanna actually dodge the attack and attack him in increments of 5. With a small pause in between, otherwise you will get a full combo, which just sends him flying and you can't really continuously attack him. So, now we just get this one, and we are actually going to do a small skip here, because normally you will come here, you will take care of this boss, and start doing the fan hovers with this one. But this surface is climbable, and this fan can push you upwards really easily. So what you're gonna do is use this, then do a double jump aiming forward, and you will get on this platform without having to go to that mini boss. And yeah, after this it's just smooth sailing with the sword hover. Always be sure to start it more to the limit of the end of the fan, because sometimes it runs out before you get to the platform, and yeah, nobody wants that. And that's the end of floating around. Another level which isn't like too bad, but it can certainly be very annoying. So now that we're here, now is the part where it gets pretty annoying, I would say. This is going to be Crystal Cavern, which is interesting to say the least. It is definitely the run killer for many people, and yeah, you can find yourself struggling in it very, very hard. The skip is just connecting a hover with a very precise jump, then getting another hover going, connecting it with another precise jump. Yeah, it's just very, very complex, but it does save a gigantic amount of time if you get it correctly. So it's even worth like getting it third try, fourth try. So we're going to go here and we're going to skip this cutscene. And this is where it's going to get, let's just say, complicated. You want to get to this little ledge area here and start a hover. Then this wall is clippable. You want to go inside here. Then you see that rock by my right. You want to go there as to load the rest of the level. And then aim to the right when you see the rest of the cavern. Then turn, move your camera, and you will see this rock. Now this rock is the reason why many runs die. We have to connect a jump to get above it. As you can see, the height is not doing us any favors. And the worst part is that a lot, like this part gets detected as a texture, as I showed you there, and it just kills you and stops your hover. So what you're gonna wanna do is to basically impossibly avoid that texture, because it'll cancel out your hover, and also be in a good position that times your jump. I think a good setup is, you see this little line here that crosses the rock. Well, you go to the very ledge of it without going too far, and as you're going up, you connect the jump. So yeah, it's quite a skip. So I'm gonna show it a few more times. You do the hover here, you enter here, then you go across the rock to load the other area. You come here, you move the camera, and using, oops, sorry about that, using the little ledge as a reference, you will jump into the rock. So it's very important that you do the method like this, otherwise the camera will tilt you back in bounds, which is inconvenient. So yeah, just a small tip there. And from here, you want to start a hover, but this from this side to the right, no, because it'll unload the area. You want to start it from here, aiming towards that direction. So let's do that. And you want to aim essentially forward here. The camera will be in bounds, but if you keep pushing forward, it'll click back out of bounds. And as you can see, we're essentially going through the layout of the level, but just out of bounds to skip many battles. So just keep going at it. As you can see, the map here turns left, so we're going to turn left with it. It'll unload there. Just keep pushing forward, it's fine, and you will see this platform. So with this platform, you want to go to the point that is the most downwards possible here, approximately, and also connect the jump. So yeah, that's Crystal Cavern skip. To say it's complicated would be an understatement. It is very difficult, but like I said, it is so worth it. You wouldn't really want to not learn it. Just really take your time with it. Get familiarized with the reference point to connect the jump. Then the second hover is just a matter, like, if you know the right deluxe hover, you can do this one. So here normally you have to go all the way down here and then up. That's a bit slow. So what we're going to do is, just as you're going down, you put a jump and it recognizes it as a double jump. So yeah, coming in here, we have a small skippable enemy wave. We can talk a bit more about enemy fighting here. You can use triple uppercut slash. You can use just normal uppercuts as you wish, really. I find it a bit more consistent to just do uppercut slash, but some people do uppercuts, and that's fine. Destroy this barrel and then grab the second dart. You're going to need a lot of darts here, mostly for safety. Of course, the more familiarized you are with the level, the less you're gonna need to do a double jump here to skip the platform and just follow the path here as you grab that dart and this dart, and you will have a few more to grab soon enough, I think. Yeah, in a bit. But I prioritize actually getting to these ranks first, then you can grab your darts, which aren't here, okay? They're actually a bit further down. And in this part, you're gonna have a ranks who's going to try to shoot at you, as you can see there. It's actually pretty consistent. If you aim here, you're gonna take him out, so be sure to take this position as a reference. If you get too close, he'll start shooting at you, and that will be a nightmare. Grab this extra dart for safety, and now we're going to do the OG Crystal Cavern skip, which saves you a buttload of time because it skips you the entire second and third cavern. So essentially, you see this blue light. We're gonna do a single jump off the elevator and sword hover to it, and we will eventually hear the elevator of the second cavern coming down, and as we hear that, we push ourselves back into the map. So I heard it there. The volume was a bit low, but it's definitely coming. And with that, you just skip the entire second cavern. And there's actually two methods of skipping the third cavern. The fastest one is this one. So we're just gonna do this one. Okay. So you wanna go here to the very, very, very corner, and we're actually gonna make a very precise shot here, so as to trigger this thing as destroyed, even though we're on the other part. So you see this texture here, you see how there's like a small hole in the wall. This is going to be your reference point. You want to aim straight to it, and once you shoot a dart, yeah, it destroyed the other side of the cavern, even though you haven't really been there. You can feel free to screenshot that and use it as a reference. You also have to be very much in the corner, as you can see here. And yeah, once we're done with that, we just take out this one normally, and that will be the end of Crystal Cavern. This is a very complicated level, so I wouldn't really put it past anyone to take it for granted. It's really the level that ends up making or breaking most runs. Yeah, you can just land to the grade after that. And that was Crystal Cavern. Now we're going to go to Malakai. The route getting into Malakai actually involves us jumping off of here and doing a sword hover, so just jump and land on this rock. It's faster, and you're already on your way to Malakai. Malakai can also be extremely annoying, not the first phase, but the second one. We have a good strat that can effectively kill him almost instantly. The problem is that it's very hard to get him in a setup that effectively allows us to do that. So the first phase is essentially an auto-scroller.
Is that all?
You just want to do it effectively, and there's really not much time to save here. The one thing I do recommend is that you know that you need 8 shurikens to get to the next phase of the autoscroller, and you can jump from one platform to the other. You can skip one platform in the middle if you use the sword hover, if you see like a convenient moment to do that. And also you want to get a bit of damage within you, so as you have Ninja Berserker for the second phase. So just so you know that. So yeah, we're here and we just throw him shurikens, and that's the first phase. As I said, I'm gonna allow myself to get hit a few times because it's convenient for me. It's 3 phases of shurikens, so it's always 3 phases, it's always 8 shurikens. So in that sense, it is extremely consistent. So yeah, remember to always be on the lookout for some damage boost, since you're going to definitely need it, like that, or like this. Well, actually the platform spawn at the last second there. But yeah, and remember, so people shoot the shurikens as they're getting it. I just like to accumulate 8 of them and then do it, since I know that's the amount I need. So I'm going to take 1 extra hit, and after this I'm just going to not bother about that. Yeah, last phase, I don't really have too much to say, so let's just keep it going. Okay, and now we're going to start the actual fight, which, let's just say there's a lot to unpack. So the very first thing that we're going to do is we want to get him into a corner. You will be at the mercy of what Malakai chooses to do here. Sometimes he doesn't attack, sometimes he just teleports to an area that's more convenient, sometimes he just does nothing that is helpful. However it starts, you want to get a first normal attack, which he will block, and then you will start backslashes, which is going forward then aiming back as you attack, because for whatever reason Malakai has not been programmed to be able to defend that. So that's the method you're going to use to get him to a corner effectively. Let's see what he does. So yeah, he went back here, which is actually pretty convenient since he's now really close to a corner. Okay, and once you got him cornered down like this, you will see that he's... Oh my, I had to touch that. You will see that he's like, he will be cornered, and you will start using the triple uppercut slash. So as I said, it's pressing jump, spin attack, and normal attack at the same time, very quickly. I do this with the keyboard, so you're not going to see this. But yeah, that's in essence what we're going to do. Okay, we got him out of a corner there. That's very inconvenient. So this is the problem with Malakai. He likes to move a lot. You can always chase him down as you do the hover. It's just a bit harder. Hover, sorry, as you do the uppercut slash. Sometimes you will miss a few. Okay, so now we're going to get him to a corner, and you will see how easy it is now. So he just stands there. Just be sure to take like a 0.5 seconds between each attack, because if you do it too quickly, he will just teleport to another side. Using Ninja Berserker, of course, is encouraged, and yeah, he just goes down in a few seconds, as you can see there. Normally this fight takes forever, and it's a very good strat, but he can be very, very annoying with how he moves, so be sure to be attentive of that. And now we're just moving to the final 5 levels of the run, which are unfortunately... Well, 2 of them are quite hard, I would say. 1 of them is very annoying. The other 2 are free. So we quit again here because the walk back to the teleport is too long. We just use the save we made in Sneak and Destroy. And we move into Moonbase.
hold on to your Malakai. Well, that's all clear to me now.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second.
Ja, ich wollte nur einen Termin machen von der Arztlizenz. Ach so, okay. Okay, dann. Bitte? Ja, ja. Ich mache dann von dir ab und ich kriege einen Termin.
Okay, that was nothing. So, we are here in Moon Base, which is 2 levels that one is not too bad but it's annoying, and one is the very last big skip you're going to make, and it ends up being the hardest one in the run. I wouldn't really recommend the second one to anyone that's not doing a world record push, but this one you can actually learn, it's not too bad. This is Outpost Alpha, so a lot of skips to unpack here. So first of all, we normally do like this is just a very big ramp to do this, and to get like height you have to do that, but we don't like that. So remember how in boss off we do it like this, and counts as a wall run? Yeah, well, okay, I'm killing these enemies just to make it a bit easier to explain. You don't actually kill the enemies in the run. Just give me 1 second. There you go. So use the yellow dots as a reference as to where you start doing as to where you jump. As you finish in there, and as he starts taking out his claw, you do another jump, and you should be able to get onto the chain easily. Here you can take a hit, actually, it's not important, but here we are actually going to do a clip out, which really isn't too hard to get the clip out itself. But after you clip out, you have to do a sword hover as you're moving the camera. So on inverted, it's moving it to the left, on uninverted, it's to the right. So let's see. So as usual, we get him to the utmost point, and we try to get it like this. So we just aim towards the chain as we are aiming towards here. And as I said, you do the sword hover while you're aiming towards the wall, and you should clip out of bounds. As you can see, this area is pretty tiny. Like, we're back in bounds right now. So it's very nice to get the reference with the movement of the camera instead of having to guess it. But as you can see, this wall is extremely easy to clip out of. You just do some single presses while aiming towards the chain, and it clips you out without much of an issue. Yeah, be sure to land on this kind of little wall here, and you will have to start a hover to your left, okay? So this is a very small area to start the hover. As you can see there in the distance, maybe it's hard to see in the video, there's like a dust. You just aim straight forward to this, because you will have to go through a loading area. Otherwise you will be like, not soft locked, but you will have to find the loading area. When the entire screen turns black like that, it means that you got it successfully. And you will clip back in bounds into this part of the level. Yeah, so this part is probably very well known. You just go like running down as you dodge this. There is a way to maintain momentum. It just really depends on what cycle you get this electric things off of. As you're finishing the downward run, you basically do a jump and a sword hover to maintain speed. But yes, you can see there we got like a spawn that would have killed my momentum, just so I just canceled the hover there. You skip this little dog, I want to say. You can do hovers here, but it's really slow since the rocks beneath you count as a texture and you have to dodge them. We do actually skip the next part of this. For here, it's just better to do regular chain. And yeah, even though we have an enemy wave that is unskippable, it's really faster to just avoid that like the plague. So yeah. As always, you can use the triple uppercut slash, you can use the spin back method that has to do with what you prefer. It's not really too much faster. It's recommended maybe to do the uppercut slash. I normally don't do it. I've been trying to get myself to do it more often. And yeah, you just here you do the same thing in concept again that you did at the very beginning. You just try to maintain the momentum here as it's ending. That almost made it, but yeah, not quite. And as you can see, if you get hit here, there, your momentum is completely lost. So be sure to be careful about that. But it's not too bad. So here, this is the place where I said we are going to hover now. So as you can see, there's a mini boss there. It's annoying and we want to skip it. But we also have these rocks here that count as textures if we hover. So I want to show you that, what happens. Yeah, so you can see it counts as a texture and we just get our hover cancelled. So what we're going to do is going to aim straight left here. This hover is very easy since it's like a gravity 0. So you can really just take your time with this hover. As you can see, it's very generous with its timing window. It's basically free. And you see the rock right to the right of me. As we stop seeing that, we aim to the right and we just corner it. We go right next to it without going too far away from it. We avoid the rocks that are floating because those also count as textures. We just aim straight up. As you can see here, we're just going past a wall. Here the hover will stop being gravity 0. Don't freak out about that. Keep aiming forward even though there's nothing for you. The area will eventually load. As you can see, it just loaded for us. And yeah, this is an enemy wave and the level will be done. If you have a ninja, you can use it. Of course. Just makes things a bit more easier. And it destroys this while you can start going to the climb up. So you just do that. Remember to always use the chains while on the ground, never jump to them, kills your momentum, it's lower. And you just have a few doggos to dodge here and you will be good to go. So that was Outpost Alpha. Can be an annoying level for sure. But I would say it's also a bit consistent by now. Now the one that isn't consistent is the one we are about to learn, which is Outpost Beta. It's got the worst skip in the game, I would say, in the sense that, well, first of all, it's very complicated to even get out of bounds. And once you're out of bounds, you have a hover, which if you fail, you lose 2 minutes because you have no checkpoints up until that point.
Got anything tougher?
So maybe leave this as a last resort, especially if you're not doing world record pushes. It's a very brutal skip. So yeah. We take care of the enemy wave. The first part of this level is almost completely intended. So yeah, you just skip these two, and this is the part where it's going to get complicated. Okay, so first of all, this is a very long enemy wave that we're supposed to fight, but the idea is to skip this. That's part of the skip. So first of all, for enemies are going to spawn, we're going to take care of two of them, because if we take care of 3, it's just going to spawn more enemies, and we're going to try to have to do the climb up as we are dodging Ranks' attacks. Easier said than done, definitely, because they are very annoying and at times they can just perfectly time you an attack to just ruin everything for you. So be very careful with them. As a reference point, once you get past the second like little ledge here, that's the place where I'm at right now, it's good enough to already grab the chain. So you do the double jump and you come here. So this is the part where it gets really essentially very annoying. So, how do I even explain this? You know how I told you that we have the normal. Well, that's fun. You can also always fall, which just happened to me. Let's just climb up again. You can see the ranks got a bit distracted, so that's good. So you know how I told you we have the normal method of doing a chain clip or a chain hover, however you want to call it. We just grab the chain and we just do it something like this, you know? So yeah, that's the very first idea in essence, but you remember how I told you that using pauses gives you extra height and speed. Well, on almost all skips it is not necessary, but sadly here what we are trying to do is to get height to a position where a wall is not textured. So that is very much mandatory. And you remember how I told you that with the wall run, he goes up until the second or third step, you have the ability to re-maneuver him, otherwise he will just pull out his claw? Well, that's also something we do. And you remember how we sometimes have to move out of bounds without seeing anything? That's also something we're gonna have to do. So this is very, 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 very annoying. So what I like to do, my setup, and it's really not written in stone unlike others, we just get to the utmost point and we go away from it. That's the very first idea. We go utmost point and a single press, aiming about diagonally to the left side, like aiming upwards to the leftish side of the wall, of the chain, sorry, and then you do a pause buffer to get that extra height as you connect the second chain. You go to this wall here, you do 2 steps and you aim to the left trying to clip out. So let's see how we do. Yeah, that's it in concept, and you have to come to this very tiny area. That clip, to say it's annoying would be an understatement. I'm gonna get myself back to it. It's because doing it only once isn't really gonna be easy. So let's do that again. So you do a single, wait, as you're getting away, you do a single press, aim leftish, go here. See, that was too low, for example. That I didn't connect with the hover, with the buffer well enough. I didn't get enough height. That's also way too low. Oh no, it actually got it. So yeah, it's that middle point where you can clip out. And the worst part is that I have to hate myself about this because I'm the one that actually suggested that okay, you're not going to hit me. Hold on. Let's try to get him to shoot at me. Thank you. So I'm the one who suggested that area may be clippable, so I will always have myself to be held accountable for that. So yeah, as you can see, it can be very inconsistent. Sometimes you will have it like that you didn't go high enough and you have to react and come back here and try again. It's extremely annoying. It's a matter of hitting yourself up against the wall until you figure it out. And yes, once you're here... wait, why is he shooting at me? Okay, he shouldn't shoot at you from out of bounds. Once you're out of bounds, you have to start a hover. And I hope you get this one, because if you don't, like I said, you will lose 2 minutes. If you're aiming for PB and you got the skip in your PB, that's the end of the run, basically. So no pressure there. And you aim forward. At least this part is pretty easy to do. After you get the hover, you just aim forward here. You go alongside the level, pretty much like what you used to do in Crystal Cavern. And as you can see, there's a mini boss to the left of us. We're going to ignore him. That's the basic. That's why we do this. And yeah, you just click here. So normally when you do the skip well, and you do it like you don't get out of bounds and back in, you just get out of bounds and get the hover successfully. This area, it'll all be perfectly lined up for you to wait very little time. We almost got that here, but as you can see, we have to wait a long time here. There is another way to overcomplicate yourself. We can actually start a hover within this wall to clip out of bounds, but even getting the hover going is extremely hard, so we're just gonna skip that for now. So yeah, more enemy waves here. If you can do the triple uppercut, it's always worth it. Sometimes I forget to do it, so I'm not gonna blame you if you do. So just take out this, go back here. And that was essentially the hardest skip on the run. And the very last, like, truly very annoying part of it. So yeah, here we're going to have another unskippable way. You have to take the doggo out first. You can use the rocket guy to maybe shoot at him, but sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Wouldn't really care about it too much. Yeah. Just take off this, and you will already have like the Eye Ninja power up. So you don't even need to do the method to soft lock the mini boss here on the end of the level. You just need to get close to him, activate the max power up, and he will just insta die. You just have to get close to him after he gets knocked back, because like I said, on the 6th hit he gets like thrown out of the screen. So yeah. So you just activate it. You fly close to him, and he just receives all the damage. He will like die instantly. Yeah, and that's the end of Outpost Beta. So if you made it this far and you learned everything, I want to congratulate you, because it is very, very difficult to do this skip. If you just called it a day and chose not to do it, that is completely fine. But yeah. Now we move on to Cryo Chamber, which is, I would say, the last annoying level. Not difficult, just annoying, because we have some things to keep in mind as we do it. So the whole gimmick of Cryo Chamber is that you are above, let's say, a toxic body of water, for lack of a better term. And you are breaking something that is making it unstable, and it makes it rise up, and you have to escape it. And the problem with that is that once you're escaping, if you fall into this, of course, it's an instant death. So just a few things to keep in mind. So first of all, as you spawn, you go to the upmost part. So the problem with this is that this chain is extremely thin, so sometimes you can miss it, even though it should have worked. But yeah, so the thing with this level is that once you finish destroying one of these yellow balls completely, it's the water starts to rise up, and you have to escape and then start another cycle. So what we're gonna do first of all is destroy 3/4 of each of them here. We do this in 3 cycles. It's also basically a choreography. The thing is, it gets annoying as the ranks spawn in, of course, because they can push you to the toxic water. So once you're on the 4th one, you do destroy it. This cutscene is sadly unskippable. Not if you die, but we don't want to see the cutscene die, then try it again. It's not worth it, of course. So yeah, we do that. Then we get this one before we escape. And here, with this, I always recommend connecting this chain and doing a bit of sword hovering, just to make sure you land on this tray. Like I said, it is unnecessarily thin, just in case. So for the second phase, you go to the opposite side of the other 2 balls you destroyed 3/4 of. Immediately destroy this one, then you go to the one to the left of you. Be sure to take the path like that so you get the ranks away from it, otherwise it's going to get very annoying. And you actually destroy this one completely also before going back to the escape route.
Personnel should evacuate immediately.
So yeah. And for the last one, and this is the most complicated one. If you don't feel confident you're going to make it, you can always do it in 4 cycles. We come here, we destroy 3/4 of this, then we go to the left, we take this route so as to not get disturbed by the other ranks. We destroy this one completely, we come back here, we destroy this one, we go around the corner so as not to get disturbed by the ranks again, and we destroy this one completely. You can do spin attacks here to get the ranks away from you, and that's the end of Cryo Chamber. Okay, and after that there is no danger in regards to the water rising up, but if you fall you will die, so be careful about that. It has happened to me in a PB attempt. And yeah, just get the double jump here. And that will be the end of the level. So we're down to the final two right now. And if you're here, your chances of a PB are very, very high by now. Because this is a skip that just takes literally 20 seconds to get done. And O-Dor really shouldn't be much more than an annoyance. So, first of all, skip that cutscene. And yeah, so this level, it's one of the like core skips. It's been with us since like 2016. So the grade's there, and it's normally out of reach until you take care of all of the enemies. This is like an enemy rush type of level, but we have a chain here, and I'm pretty sure you know where this is going. We're going to use the pause buffer again to get the extra height. So like I said, upmost point, get away from it, do one of them, and you will be landing on that rail, which is enough to finish the level. Let's do it again, just in case. So I grab it here, I go to the upmost point, I go away, grab here, chain, voila. That's it. That's the level, literally. I'm gonna do it one more time, but really, there's not much more. Like I said, you go to the upmost point, you get away, you do a single press, you do one of them with pause hovering, voila, you're here. That's it. That's the level. That's why I say when you're here, it is very unlikely that you will choke a PB if you're on good pace. Of course, it can go horribly wrong, but if you got Outpost Beta skip, it's very weird that you don't get this one. And now on to O-Dor. So the thing about O-Dor is we spam the triple uppercut slash. Remember, it's jump, spin attack, and normal attack all at the same time and really quickly press and release. I like to do it on keyboard. I put the 3 keys next to each other and I just mash those 3 like really quickly. It's like you press and release immediately. On the first phase, you just want to go straight to him. You do that attack, and as you get thrown back, he's just gonna... The camera's gonna take care that you can still get to him, even though it's moving to the right and whatnot. So you just go pushing forward as you get the triple uppercut slash. So yeah, let's see how it goes. Oh, you can let yourself get hit there here, by the way, to get some more power up. But yeah, as you can see, he goes down in like 4 hits. This is like near instantaneous. As I said, I do this on keyboard, which is why you didn't see it on controller, but it looks something like this and on controller, if you like to do that. But I like the keyboard method myself. But yeah, that was really... this phase used to take 40 seconds, and now he just goes down in like 5. We usually have Ninja... We used to have like Ninja Berserker loaded up for this section. We don't have that now. Now we have some Gravity Zero platforming. Nothing that should be too important. You can hover here, but why would you? It's not worth it to take the risks at the end of the run, and it's not even faster. So don't worry about that. Just do this platforming. It's very straightforward boss fight to be around, and there is very straightforward. So this part is a bit annoying because the arena got bigger, and now he will have a big blowback attack. And sadly, some attacks are consistent in how often he does them, some are RNG. Sadly, I'm moving to keyboard but now, by the way. Sadly, one of them is the one with the blowback. So now it is guaranteed that he's going to make it. But then it is kind of random as to whether he does it on every single attack, on a few of them. As you can see with Ninja Berserker, we only get that attack because that blowback, like I said, is guaranteed. But yeah, you're really just dependent on RNG on this part. Sometimes, like I said, he will do it, sometimes he won't. Getting 3 in a row is usually the norm. By this one, he shouldn't be able to do it. Okay, yeah, so as you can see, he didn't do it there. So now he can just do it a bit easier, and that's the end of the run, actually. Yeah. I would say O-Dor is not a big difficulty. But, that's where the timer stops on the final hit of O-Dor. And if you got here and you learned everything, well, major congratulations, first of all. And yeah, welcome to the iNinja New Game Plus speedrun. You are very well equipped to do a run if you've learned everything here. Even if you skipped a few things, you still have many tools to really get a decent run. So I congratulate you. It is not an easy run. It is also not like one of the hardest runs of all time or anything. It just takes some discipline and consistency in a few areas. As far as my personal tips will go with discipline about running this category is to not really, as this goes to all games really, but don't care so much if you don't get a great beginning, because you will always have so much time to win or bleed out in the final stages. Like from Jungle Falls to Space Station, you have about every single level you can save a lot of time in before you can do like really tight PB pushes, because first of all, you're gonna fail boss off skip once, then you're gonna do it first try, but it's gonna be a slow clip out, then you're gonna get it with a fast clip out, but then it's going to be, I don't know, you're going to fail the skip from the wasps, and that's going to cost you 20 seconds and so on. So until you get like really optimized golds to fight against, it's really worth it to just do 5 no resets or even 10 no resets run, and you will see what potential you're sitting at and what you can improve. Another tip is to not take the bosses for granted or the auto scrollers. I know they can seem like a hassle and just very like formalities, let's say, but they are very important, and within all of them you can win or lose 4 or 5 minutes in the run, which is no joke. Especially shoot the ships. Don't take shoot the ships for granted, I'm afraid to say. And yeah, of course, don't do the silly mistake that many people, including myself, sometimes do of learning half the run. I'm saying, oh, okay, yeah, I think I got this figured out. I'll just do the rest of it, and just half-ass it, and essentially overlearn parts and underlearn others. And yeah, you should be able to get a very respectable time. Most of the strats I show here transition to an any percent run. The thing with any percent is, of course, you get mission replays, which include like their own specific strats. Maybe one day I'll do a complimentary tutorial where I explain just the any percent stuff, and then another tutorial where I explain the 100% stuff. But that's gonna take a while because I see that there's not like much of a general interest to run those two categories, and I can understand why. So yeah, this has been the end of the tutorial. Thank you for joining me here. If you watched the whole thing, you're a legend. Yeah, I hope to see you in the leaderboards or in the Discord with us, and to be at the top challenging with the top runners. So yeah, congratulations on learning Ninja, and you have a lot of fun running it.